It's on. This video is finally answering the question of what is Superman. Now, through history of time, there has been some question about who is or what is Superman. We have to look back into the 18th century of a German philosopher. He proclaims this Superman is Overman is a specimen who overcomes all man. Basically, he's saying he is superhuman compared to humans. And so there are many names. One is that he's a human god, supposedly. Two, he is something of a specimen that no human could ever achieve to become. Unfortunately, there is, in this modern time, there finally has come a time within this human evolution of great achievements in infinite possibilities that we have finally come into the time and era of discovering what Superman is. Although the movie portrays him as a man of justice, a man of impeccable stature and capabilities in freedom of justice and fighting for all mankind, unfortunately, in reality, within the imprint of Man of Steel and Indestructible, he is really a ultimate antichrist. Now you may say, well, that sounds crazy. Unfortunately, as the real story of Superman, how it became, it started out as a villain. And then it, through certain individuals' visionary artistic creativity, he has taken this Overman into becoming something of goody tissue guy that saves the world of any evil. Unfortunately, while the real story of him becoming an evil, first intention of becoming an evil person and then becoming a superhero, in a real life story, it almost fits into that criteria, because within his early of existence, he doesn't know who he is. He definitely didn't think he was Superman. He, in fact, through his illegal activities and mischievous ways of life, of being primitive and wild, that he was far from being a man of justice. Rather, he was a man of most creative villain. That's reality. But after decades, after almost a half a century later, within his final moments of clarity, seeing through human race's history to evolutional growth to every human disposition of lifestyle to likes, dislikes, hatred, to love, through the YouTube and also all the entertainment programs of it's massive. But these videos, whether it's TV, whether YouTube, however it is imprinted, it is recording time of history, a possibility to actual instance that has happened. I mean, although the historical stories may, in movies and everything, it may be fictional, titled fictional, because of logistics, but all movie documentary stories, they have some truth of its origin of existence. So whether it is an extremity of a mass serial killer to a person who has lived their whole life in fighting for justice and sacrificing their life, whatever extremity of destruction to prosperity, it's all imprinted in, unfortunately, for every human to see beyond their basic life, to see, I mean, it would take a lot of time and investment and a lot of time of research to see through, and only a certain individuals would obtain the truth from fiction within. Unfortunately, because of individuals' exposure to life and experience, not everybody will have the proper judgment or right way of seeing things. Nevertheless, as a philosopher who have studied human race, we are finally coming to the term in this modern time to understanding what Superman is, what Friedrich Nietzsche was trying to say in discovering of this ideal vision of Overman. Now, realistically, all humans are susceptible or potential of being superhuman or Superman to whatever. All human, no matter how genetically gifted to how genetically ungifted they may be. So, but what makes this particular person to be separate specimen compared to all others, that his birth to his existence, to his experiences, to his challenges and struggles of life, he had to overcome all of it. Well, some humans may overcome certain things of one particular thing, two or two. He had to overcome many. So Superman, he may be recognized in many ways and interpretation in Hollywood, a piece of fighting for justice. But in reality, unfortunately to say, he's an ultimate antichrist, unfortunately to say. And I'm going to have to explain why that is. Why this Superman is recognized as being a man of steel, indestructible. Because while there are many humans out there that has image or pretense of being a superhuman, unfortunately, because of their dependency, especially to the higher power, if they blasphemize against higher power, or if they're ignorant to appreciate their wealth and whatever lifestyle they have, if they were too ignorant, they would eventually lose it all. So basically, if they don't respect, if they don't praise upon the higher power in some way, not so much in religious form, but you have to accept certain, whoever humans have this mass achievements or whatever in superficial lifestyle, they have to bow down to God or higher power or to Mother Nature. If they don't, well, eventually, within their arrogance and ignorance, they will eventually fall from grace. So, the thing about Superman, and he, Isaiah said, he is an ultimate antichrist. He's because while humans within their misfortunes, whether losing loved ones to certain diseases, losing their wealth of foundation, or their certain people, their children die for whatever mishaps, or they have lost all their fortune, they would, so while some may just accept it, but there are many who would curse, blasphemize against the higher power, or speak bad of Mother Nature or God, or curse God, whatever shape and form. Unfortunately, they have a lot to lose, especially if they love things of life, even simple thing as a breathing. So Superman is a specimen, is a person who don't know about life, the value of life, who is too ignorant. And because of his development of misfortunes, bad childhood to heavy struggles in life, he slowly grows anger as he progresses into his early decades and never finding avenue of prosperity and always being taken rug under him, or always being suppressed from obtaining or having a good life. Within his continuous progression to achieve and continuous neglect and suppression of not obtaining, he becomes angry, more angry. And while humans may have their indifferences of bad physical battles, of like such thing as like blacks and whites always having differences of privileges in job opportunities, and I mean, through history, there has been many examples. Terrorists acting out violently because they believed in certain things and they are not given enough support or credence for them. Anyway, humans have all these kinds of anger towards some other humans. It seems they seem to have anger toward other humans rather than anger toward Mother Nature. So while humans within this bitterness and misfortunes of give and take and not have bitterness against other humans and act in travesty to destruction toward them, the Superman, or this overman, superior being, has an anger toward Mother Nature. He, through his life, he recognizes that Mother Nature controls all things, even his bipolar behavior. Whatever he acts upon and destroys to having, not having, he blames Mother Nature for it. Especially, it's not really about his childhood either. It's not about misfortune of a child. He doesn't really care about those. But he, through his ambition and continued progression to become certain specification of achievement, seems Mother Nature will not allow him into the prosperity. So as he continues to go through this addiction and in and out of jail and continuously forced into homelessness and all that continuously, as he strives and as he try to find a job, he can't get in the job because of a criminal record or because he's not have education and all. As he is continuously denied in prosperity, his anger is building higher, intensifying and higher into his, I mean, in the early 20s, he doesn't really recognize it, but he slowly building within him. And then after decades later, it finally hits him that he is just filled with anger. He just want to take vengeance on this creator how ridiculous it may sound, but his vengeance of him not being allowed into prosperity through his continuous efforts, and he continues being slammed down, that he vows to, in eternity, even in his death, that he will chase down this creator, whatever form it may take. So although this may sound crazy, some illogical, idiotic madness, but he has nothing against the humans. He understands that humans are merely children, puppets. They are just victim of existence. He recognizes within his deep subconscious mind. And the only thing to generate the deep, frustrated anger is toward the Creator in whatever form he may take. So, through his continuous drive to fulfill the internal ambition, after decades, after 15 years, he finally wakes up and say, fuck Mother Nature. I'm going to do whatever I can to live this complete life in fulfilling addiction of the flesh. And whether I die at the moment or not, he doesn't care. All he cares is if he had a chance to fight this Mother Nature one-on-one battle, that he will be happy to not just kill him easily like a merciful killer, but he would imagine himself torturing this creator to 1,000 years of pain, indulging confinement. Now you may think, well, this guy's crazy. Right, he is. This is how psychotic he is because he has no rationalization. He is just so primitive that logical sense of you can't get in touch with the higher power. There is no image, there is no substance to it. It is just energy. He knows. He just had this psychotic mentality that he doesn't care. He just wants to have an opportunity to kill the creator. Now, whether that has any significance with Nietzsche saying we have killed God or whatever, I don't know. But he has this ultimate antichrist. The reason he is an ultimate antichrist, because among all the other antichrists, so-called destroyer, he is looking at deeper sense who is to blame of all humans' pains. Children's cancer, people's living life happily, and suddenly they're destroyed. Such thing as war, all kinds of war, pain, suffering, innocent people to people who may even deserve to be killed and be suffered. But you're talking about through history and time, how many millions and billions of people have died in suffering, the likes of war, natural disaster. Who controls these things? Although humans may blame other race and cultures, but really anything that happens in life, this specimen recognizes that humans are just children. They're just victims of circumstances. The ultimate person that controls all things of life is the higher power, the one who created all things. So as he recognizes this, his anger, through his continuous efforts to achieve and strive through life, and he's not getting anywhere. It seems like every time he climbed the ladder, Mother Nature just takes the ladder and just swipes it. As he climbs again, he swipes. As he climbs again, he slides. This goes on for decades. Finally, so after about over like 15 years, he said, fuck it. I'm just gonna like do what I have to do and wait for death. In the meantime, whatever money and things I have, every month, whatever money I have, I'm just gonna spend it on myself as if it's the last day of my existence. Unfortunately, he survives he survives the journey. But imagine the life that he is living month to month for decades. Every month he is living life like that is the last month. But he lives for another 15, almost 20 years through this psychotic mentality of life existence. The only thing he awaits is for opportunity to get his. He even thinks about killing himself. Like he thinks about committing suicide just to enter into a next life so he could get at this figure of creator. But he recognizes that that is not promised. Even if he kills himself in which to enter into next life to seek vengeance against the creator, he's not promised of that. So he doesn't want to commit to anything unless it's guaranteed. So he continues to exist in the flesh. In the meantime, his anger is building and building, and as he continues to go deeper into addiction, fulfilling and living this self-gratification toward end of days, for years to decades, that he continues to exist. And while he could easily end his life, but he just, to be honestly, I would say he's really a coward to end his own life. He wants somebody or something to take his life. He just don't want to end it because he travels so long. He obtains so much of power and knowledge and skills. He doesn't want to just kill himself. So he wants something or some incident to take its place. So while there are humans out there that may be timid about killing this, and that, the Antichrist, he has no feeling. Problem with him is that he has this internal ambition. He wants to fulfill it. He wants to complete it. And through that, he continues to exist. Had it not been for this internal ambition, he could have easily succumbed to being a person of circumstance, of being death row inmate, person who is doing lifetime, person who have died in, as you see in society, terrorist attacks. Anybody that are doing lifetime or waiting death row, or people who have died through their kamikaze terrorizing acts, he could have easily succumbed to it because he had no morals, he has no values. He has so much hatred for the Mother Nature. No human, not even children, babies, you could pile them all dead bodies in front of his face. It ain't gonna stir him. He doesn't care. He only has this pure hatred image of this creator for creating whoever created him. He has this anger, and that's what he venged for. Unfortunately, through his cowardliness to kill himself, or he just don't want to take the chance of ending his life because he may not attain his vengeance against the higher power. Whatever reason, he continues to live. And through this, he slowly obtains wisdom and power of the higher power, reasons of life, purpose of human existence. He is not the only one who has been betrayed by life. There are many parents out there who have invested all their time, energy into raising, educating, feeding, slaving themselves into raising. Suddenly they are killed, destroyed by human acts, by tragedy, nature, whatever. Although humans may blame other humans, but the ultimate force that controls all things, and that could have prevented any babies from getting cancer, getting killed, or whatever tragedy of human existence. It could have been prevented by the higher power, because higher power supposedly is the ultimate creator of all things, and it is perfect. So he deeply understands his existence as being something of a curse, but at the same time, in his continuous progression of monthly to yearly, he continues to see through human lives, mostly through video, through his own life journey, and also into the other people's life journey through YouTube, through video, through documentary, through old movie videos, and all these. I mean, the information in the lives that have existed and don't exist, or will exist, the possibility is all imprinted. They're everywhere. They're in books, they're in video, they're in people's stories, they're everywhere. So as he progresses in this mental depravity of existence, a borderline of suicide, he's basically a walking dynamite. He wants to explode on someone or something. Even somebody as old, innocent person as a grandmother. Her way of walking and her old skin smell and the way she would even talk to you, telling you what to do. That thing about telling you what to do, although he may have patience for children, for imperfections, and even grown up, but there's a limit to how much he could take. He would easily kill anybody or anything in life. While primitive species may fight, but they would rarely kill one another. He is worse than a primitive species. He is the most aggressive. He has no hard feelings about anybody except kids, children, but even boys. If they're adult, 16, 17, and they want to rub against you and they want to challenge it, unfortunately, say he has no qualm about if nobody was watching, he would easily kill him. That he is that psychotic, and anybody older than that, I mean, he has. To be honest, he has some softness for females, because there's a limit to how much. But when you're talking about old ladies or even mid women, if he was ever tested to what he is challenged, he will not hesitate. So as there are many psychotic people out there, the ultimate Antichrist, he is most extreme. And why he survives, what purpose he survives to the end of his recognition, old age, and what benefit that really serves, it's all in the perspective. But as a philosopher, I have to say that is the representation of an ultimate Antichrist. It's just that within his internal ambition, instruction, that he's not easily, and also he's introverted. He's not an extrovert. He's very introverted. He keeps to himself. But when there's a time, if he was waiting in line at a grocery store, if he was on a bus stop, even at the police station, if somebody would ever to irritate him and dared him to kill him, even when the police are present, he would not hesitate. This is what is surprising that he becomes. That he should have been a death row inmate. He should have died long ago. He should have been imprisoned, or he should have some suffered. Even within his sexual escapade, he should have died with some form of disgusting, pain-aching disease because of he was into that dark, destructive lifestyle. But somehow he exists and he completes the mission and he becomes. And this is the only reason he is represented as Overman, Superman, not from the birth or through development that he recognizes, but through completing the journey, through the chasing of Mother Nature. He was chasing Mother Nature for death. He wants death, but he could never do it himself. So he's just waiting for opportunity or somebody to do it. And the fact that he has no friends, no association, and he doesn't involve himself in society, that he has been preserved. Because if he hung around bars, he hung around some groups of men chatting and stuff like that and talking shit and all that, in prison, jail, even in jail, he kept himself isolated because the fear is not getting in a fight or physical conversation. The fear is that he knows he will not stop until he kills that individual. And punching somebody a few times in the nose, or that ain't going to be satisfying. It's either you have to kill him or don't bother. He has that mentality. So this iconic figure, Superman, it's while movie portrays as him being this man of justice, man of peace, and all for mankind and all that. Unfortunately, it's after 50 years, after 50 years of this life journey of never-ending struggles and psychotic mentality and surviving, that each death he enters into addiction and overcoming it and continues to evolve, never giving up in pursuit of his vengeance against the Creator, no matter how crazy and how ridiculous that may sound. That it's almost like Mother Nature saying, come on, yeah, come and get me. Through, that he somehow survived. But unfortunately, that was the carrot. That was the anger toward the Mother Nature, the vengeance. That was the coaxing. That was the carrot that closely draws more intensifying toward obtaining the personification